Tyler from Aspire Sports, and I'm going to give you my must draft players for the 2021 fantasy football season. Now, these aren't going to be like super obvious players. Oh, draft Christian McCaffrey. Like, no shit, draft them, right? So these are going to be some players that might be a little bit obvious, other players that may not be a little obvious. So, and it's also a little early just because there's no real ADP on these players. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all the latest videos to help you win your league. Also, we are doing a dynasty league. We did already one dynasty league with some of our followers. So if you're a subscriber and you want to get in this dynasty league, it's a brand new one that I'm going to open up. You can find how to sign up in the description down below. It's going to be over on Sleeper. So look for this link over here. You can see the link right here. I'll just put that down below in the comments section, or not the comments, the description, and you can go ahead and sign up. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. My first must draft is going to be TJ Hockenson. And yes, it's not a running back or a wide receiver, so it's not really that sexy. But for the tight end position, TJ Hockenson, for me, is a must draft. Right now, over on Fantasy Pros, I'm going to reference them because there's no real ADP right now. So I'm just going to use their rankings. Right now, he is ranked as the number 5 tight end, which is pretty good. But I would definitely draft him over Mark Andrews. And I would rather have TJ Hockenson over Darren Waller just because Darren Waller is probably going to be drafted higher than TJ Hockenson. I think TJ Hockenson is going to be a better value than Darren Waller. And the reasoning, because you're going to have 269 targets from Detroit last year that are up for grabs. No Kenny Golladay. Marvin Jones is gone. Danny Amendola didn't sign back with the team. So you have all these targets, and they really haven't done anything to replenish those targets. They have Brashad Perryman, but Brashad Perryman, in my opinion, is not very good. He hasn't played a full season since his rookie season as well. So it's not like he's going to come in and demand a bunch of targets. I think TJ Hockenson last year, he had, I think it was about 115 targets. I think he's going to be upwards to 125, 150 range. Just because this defense, number one, is also going to be terrible. They haven't done enough to improve on the defense. So you're going to have negative game scripts, positive game scripts for TJ Hockenson in the passing game in terms of fantasy football. So you're going to have them throwing the ball a lot. And he's going to be basically the best player on this offense minus DeAndre Swift. Now, I'd assume they're going to have to attack the draft early and often at the wide receiver position in the draft this upcoming season, but it's not, for me, it's just not going to do enough to take away from TJ Hockenson. This year, if he can play a full 16-game season, I truly do believe he could finish as tight end number 3 this upcoming season. So number 1 for me is going to be TJ Hockenson. Coming in at number 2 for me, my must draft, is going to be Chris Carson. And I love Chris Carson. I did a breakdown on him after the free agency signing right here, if you want to check it out. Chris Carson, for me, is always very underrated in fantasy football, has been for years now. He's probably going to be drafted, I'd say, in like the 3rd round, middle 3rd round, maybe late 3rd round of your drafts. So somebody who's being drafted just way too low. Right now, over on Fantasy Pros, he is RB number 21 right now. Maybe that might move up as we get closer to this season, but I honestly think it's going to stay right around there. Last year, he didn't even play a full season, missed 4 games, still finished as RB number 16 in standard, 19 in PPR. Right now, once again, he is ranked as running back number 21. Way too low. I'd rather have him over guys like DeAndre Swift. Honestly, Josh Jacobs for sure right now. I'd honestly rather have him over J.K. Dobbins and Antonio Gibson. For me, he's a borderline RB number 1, high-end RB2, a back-end RB1. So for me, I would love to have Chris Carson. You have Pete Carroll, who came out this season, said that they need to run the ball better. They fired their OC, have a new OC, and they just signed a couple of offensive linemen. I think they traded for one from the Raiders. So they only have gotten better on the offense side of the ball. And for me, I'm not even worried about Rashad Penny, who I believe is going to draw hype as the offseason progresses. But why would you bring in Chris Carson and basically pay him $8 million a year to play second fiddle to Rashad Penny? It's not going to happen. He's going to be their guy. And I believe you should draft him in your drafts because he's going to be a very good value. And in drafts, you draft value. Draft value, don't reach. And Chris Carson is going to be a good value pick coming up for this draft. So Chris Carson, number 2. Must draft number 3 for me is going to be Sterling Shepard. And once again, fantasy football, the draft time is about finding value. I think Sterling Shepard is a value draft pick in the upcoming season, as long as we'll see where he's being taken and everything like that leading up to the draft. But right now over on Fantasy Pros, he's currently ranked as wide receiver number 56. Last year, and I get it, they just signed Kenny Golladay, but last year he was wide receiver number 43 in full point PPR. I especially like him in full point PPR this upcoming season. You're going to have Kenny Golladay on the outside, I believe, which is going to move Sterling Shepard into the slot where he is much better. Sterling Shepard is a very good slot receiver. And once again, him and Danny Dimes have shown this rapport, which I think will only continue this upcoming season. The only big issue with Sterling Shepard is, can he stay on the field? If he can play a full 16-game season, I do believe he can be a borderline wide receiver number 3. And for where he is being ranked, wide receiver number 56, that is very good value. So that's why Sterling Shepard for me right now is number 3 on my list. So make sure you go out and get Sterling Shepard this upcoming season. We'll see where he's being drafted. I'll update you. But Sterling Shepard, number 3. Coming in at number 4, there's going to be 2 players for number 4 because there's quarterbacks. They're both quarterbacks, and I'm trying to hit all the positions here in this video. So number 4 is going to be both Cam Newton and Jameis Winston. Right now over on Fantasy Pros, they're currently ranked as quarterback number 30 and quarterback number 25. I'd imagine that as long as Jameis Winston wins the job, which I'm assuming he's going to win this job, he'll probably move up the draft boards, and Cam Newton might move up a little bit leading up to the draft. So Cam Newton last year, it was a very good start to the season, and then as the season progressed, it wasn't very good. This offseason, the Patriots have done nothing but improve this offense. So for Cam Newton to be right now number 25, I just think is way too low. Last year, he still finished as quarterback number 16. So I still think he's going to be a borderline like quarterback number 1 in this upcoming season, especially because he gives that huge upside of rushing ability, especially around the goal line last year, as he showed. He was, especially in the beginning of the season, he was very good at getting those rushing touchdowns. So I don't think a whole lot's going to change. He's not that great of a passer, but now has playmakers on all levels of the game. They just signed 2 really good tight ends, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. They signed Nelson Aguilar on the outside, Kendrick Bourne. So they have now playmakers on this field that give him the option to throw to, and I think he's going to have a much better this season as a thrower. So Cam Newton comes in right now at number 4. And then Jameis Winston, who I love playing for the Saints. I think Jameis Winston has a chance to finish as a top 12 quarterback in fantasy football next season. I don't think that Taysom Hill is going to be the quarterback. I believe Jameis Winston is going to beat him out. Jameis Winston has a good offense around him, has a very good play caller in Sean Payton, a good coach in Sean Payton. So I think Jameis Winston is going to make big strides this year. And yes, I know he threw like 30 interceptions at Tampa Bay. I'm not concerned about that year. He also finished, I believe, as quarterback number 3 on the season. So he's a gunslinger. So I love Jameis Winston for this upcoming season, and I would really like to have him or Cam Newton, especially for where they will probably be drafted. Once again, value in fantasy football, that's what you want. And both of them are going to be value picks this upcoming season. So Cam Newton and Jameis Winston. Coming in at number 5, and the last player for my must draft is going to be Gus Edwards. And I know all the hype is around J.K. Dobbins, rightfully so, because J.K. Dobbins is going to be a phenomenal player in the NFL, is very talented. But Gus Edwards is kind of getting forgotten here. And the reason being is because I don't think a lot of people thought he was going to be brought back, which I didn't. But they placed a second-round tender on him, and basically their GM said that they want him back on the team. That's why they did that, because nobody was really going to pay a second round for a running back. So he's going to come back on this team. And last year in Week 14, when both him and J.K. Dobbins really took over the backfield, you have J.K. Dobbins playing on 53% of the snaps and Gus Edwards playing on 38% of the snaps. So really it was those two. And I'd imagine Gus Edwards this year, as long as he comes back, which it looks highly likely that he's going to come back, is going to play right around 40% of the snaps again. And this year he finishes RB number 28, number 20 or 37 in full point PPR. So right now over on Fantasy Pros, he's currently ranked as running back number 51. So I think he's definitely going to outperform that. And especially if that's where his ADP is going to be, then he's going to be a very good value pick. He's somebody who's going to be used around the goal line. This is a team that I believe is going to be good as well. A team that loves to run the football, they're not going to give J.K. Dobbins 300 touches. He's going to be involved, probably going to see around 160 touches, I'd imagine, on the season. So somebody like that can finish inside possibly like the top 35 at his position. So yes, Gus Edwards is a must draft for me because where his value is most likely going to be, just going to be very undervalued. So with that being said, I'm going to make more videos like this. Let me know down in the comments below somebody that I may have missed that you think is going to be undervalued. Let me know. Also, if you like this content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and have a great day.